Hello folks, in last few videos we talked about volumes. We saw how to create a volume, how to attach it to a particular EC2 instance, and how to move it from one EC2 instance to another EC2 instance. Now in this video we'll talk about snapshots. So what is a snapshot? So snapshot is basically a way of backing up your data which is there on your EBS volumes. So you can convert a volume into a snapshot, and when you do so, all the data which is there on your EBS volume will be collected, converted into a file, and it will be stored in the form of a snapshot. Now snapshots are internally stored in S3 buckets. You'll be able to see these snapshots, but exactly where on what S3 bucket they are getting stored, you won't be able to see that. AWS manages all of that. So to differentiate EBS volume and snapshot again, EBS volume refers to the storage hardware that you have, whereas snapshot refers to the data that you store on those storage volumes. So AWS provides a way to create a snapshot out of a EBS volume in just few clicks. Let's go and see how to do that. So this is my volume. Now this is the extra volume that we created, and now it has been attached to an EC2 instance. This particular volume has got a file which is called assets.txt, and we have written that one line in that file. But it could be, of course, any data stored on that EBS volume. Now you see, if you want to save that data, that assets.txt file that we have, either we can keep this particular volume as it is, or we can take a snapshot of the data stored on this storage volume and keep it in form of a snapshot. Whenever I would need that particular file, I can anytime convert that snapshot and load it onto a storage volume and then start using it. So how to convert a volume into a snapshot? So here when I say converting a volume into a snapshot, what I really mean is that collecting all the data on the volume and creating a snapshot out of it. After that, I can just delete the volume and keep the snapshot. This is my volume. Select it, go to Actions, and then create a snapshot. Click on this, give a description, snapshot having assets.txt, whatever description you want to put here to identify your snapshot. So here you can add a tag and put something like who's the owner of it, who's the project name, and whatever information you want to associate this snapshot to, or whatever label you want to put on this. So I'll just create snapshot, and a create snapshot request has succeeded. Again, it might take a little time to convert it into a snapshot. This is snapshot ID, that is a unique ID. Close it, and now you can see the snapshot by going into this particular tag. Now see, I already had a snapshot with this name. The second one is the one that we just created. It's May 2, 2018. Snapshot having assets.txt file. Now I have not given it a name. I can give it a name, something like snap of extra volume. Right, now after this, I can even delete my extra volume. The data that was stored on the volume, that has been converted and saved into this particular snapshot. So I can go ahead into volumes and I can delete it. Now of course I cannot delete it right away because it is attached to an EC2 instance. So what I should ideally do is detach the volume, wait it to be detached completely. First unmount it and then detach it. So I can go here, and since it is in this one, so I need to come out of it and then unmount /dev/xvdf. That's all. Now I have unmounted it. Now I can go on and detach it. It has already been detached. Now I can go on and even delete it without any loss of the data, because the data has already been saved in the snapshot. So I can just delete this. Okay, so it has disappeared from here. Now I've got all the data saved in the form of snapshot. I can go to the snapshot and I can recreate a volume having all the data. Now this is my snapshot. I can go into Actions, and now I can create a volume out of this snapshot. So here you go. You can select what kind of volume you want to create. So size minimum, it has to be 2 GB, because when we created the snapshot, it was a snapshot of 2 GB volume. You can by the way increase it, and then exactly what availability zone you want to create it in. So see, this is also one of the difference between volume and snapshot. Volumes, when you create, they are created within a particular availability zone, whereas when you create a snapshot, they are created in a region. So when you convert a snapshot into a volume, basically when you restore the data from the snapshot and put it into a volume, then you have to specify that in which availability zone you are going to put that EBS volume. So here you have to select. And also if you think about it, this is how you move your data from one availability zone to another availability zone. If you've got some use case, you have got data on one EBS volume which is in availability zone A, but now you have to move that into availability zone B. You cannot of course move the volume. The correct way to do that would be convert that into a snapshot and then recreate another volume in that target availability zone. So those volume was actually in availability zone 1A. I can recreate it into availability zone AP South 1B. And here you go. You can just create volume and close it. So now after creating the volume, if you go to the volume tab, you will find it out that you have got a new volume with 2 GB capacity in AP South 1B availability zone. So basically you have created a snapshot and then you have restored your data by using the snapshot into a EBS volume. Now this particular EBS volume is ready to be attached to another EC2 instance. If you want to verify this, you have to attach this volume to a running EC2 instance, mount it and see by yourself that whether the data has been restored or not. So since it is now in AP South 1B, we need to have an EC2 instance which is there in the same availability zone. If you go to our instance, I've created an EC2 instance which is in AP South 1B availability zone. This is the private IP and this is the public IP. Using that public IP and private IP, I have connected to my EC2 instance and you can see that this is the private IP 172.31.9.132. Let's elevate our privileges, run the command lsblk and see there is just 8 GB of disk which is a root volume. Now I'm going to attach that volume to this. We have already seen that in our EBS volume part. Let's repeat that process. This volume I'm going to attach to an instance, attach volume, and since it has only one instance running in that availability zone, it will show that target server and you can attach it. Now if you go to that system again, you will see lsblk and you can find out that there is a new 2 GB of volume attached with that, and now you just need to create a directory and mount that volume on that directory. So mkdir extra directory. So I'll just mount dev xvdf, which is the name of the device on which disk has been attached, and then the full name of the directory to which you want to mount. And that's all. If you now go to extra directory, you can find out you have got your assets.txt file here as well. So what did we do? We had a file assets.txt on a volume. We turned that volume into snapshot. We deleted the volume. We could have kept that snapshot for whatever time I need. It would be stored on S3 storage because S3 is the primary location where you keep your files and AWS stores all your snapshot in their internal S3 bucket. Then we restored from the snapshot into a new volume and we got all our data back on the new volume. And now you can attach it to any EC2 instance. Meanwhile, remember when we created the first volume, it was in AP South 1A availability zone. When we restored it, we restored in AP South 1B availability zone, though it was in the same region. Now remember, this was possible because our snapshot was created in the same region. Now you may ask that what if the data that you have kept on your EBS volume or on the snapshot, you have to restore in another region, because you understand that whatever resources you can see here, volume, EC2, instance, snapshot, etc., they are limited within this region only. If you go and find out some other region, for example North Virginia, right now we are in North Virginia, so here you can see under volume section you don't find any volume. You won't find anything in EC2 instance or snapshot either. So what if you have to move your volume to another region as well? So for that, I'll go back to my previous region, Mumbai. I'll go to the snapshot and here I will basically copy the snapshot to another region. So select it, go to actions and then copy snapshot. What we are doing here is we are copying the snapshot from one region to another region. So my source region is Asia Pacific Mumbai. I want to move to another region. I have to give the destination region here, which would be something different from Asia Pacific Mumbai. So suppose you want to go to North Virginia and here it is creating some description automatically. You can edit it. If you want, you can encrypt this snapshot. When you go to encryption, you also have to tell it what key it will use. Right now I'm not going to encrypt it, and then you can copy it. So the copy operation has been initiated. It will take some time to copy your snapshot from Mumbai region to North Virginia region, and then you can go to the North Virginia region and restore it. So right now what is going on is your snapshot, which is actually a file, is getting transferred from Mumbai region to North Virginia region. The source is some internal bucket in Mumbai region to some internal S3 bucket managed by AWS in North Virginia region. So it will take some time. I'm going to close it here and then let's go to the North Virginia region. And here you can see that snapshot is being copied here. So it has not completed yet. The status is still pending. It started May 2018. But once completed, you can restore the snapshot into a volume which is there in North Virginia region. So why do you need to make a snapshot? Can't we copy the EBS volume from one region and put it in another region? Of course we cannot, because EBS volume is more about storage. This is a hardware where you are keeping your data. So you cannot of course move a EBS volume from one region to another region, or for that matter from one availability zone to another availability zone. But your main focus would always be the data which is kept on the EBS volume. So you can copy the data from one region to another region by first converting it to a snapshot file and then copying the snapshot into your destination region. And in your destination region, once the copying is complete, you can restore into another volume which is in your target region. So I'll just refresh it. It is still taking some time because you understand the 2 GB of data is getting transferred from Mumbai region to North Virginia region. We'll wait here. Once it gets completed, we'll see that we can now convert it into a volume and then attach it to the instances which are in the target region. So my copy snapshot has completed. This is ready to be converted into a volume, and that volume can be associated with your EC2 instance in the same way that we did earlier. So snapshots can be looked from two perspectives. One is backing up your data, another is moving your data from one region to another region. So specifically this particular thing is called EBS snapshots. Snapshots you will find in other services as well, for example RDS snapshot, which is a database snapshot, or snapshot in Redshift, which is a data warehouse, and many other services. So I hope you have got an idea about what is a volume and what is a snapshot, what are the similarities between them and what is the difference, and what is the utility of all these volumes and snapshots. If you have further questions, you can write it down in comment box and we'll try to answer that. So that's all what we have in this particular video. See you soon in the next video. Thank you for watching.